Have you ever heard your own voice and felt like it didn't belong to you? I have. It happened on a night when the radio should have already been silent. They say silence is the absence of sound. That's not true. Silence is when sound was there and then disappeared. When you wait for it to come back, but it never does. My name is Alexi. For 10 years, I hosted a late-night radio show called The Last Hour. We went on air exactly at midnight. No music, no guests, just me and the calls. At night, people tell the truth more often than during the day. At night, you don't have to pretend. At night, you're either alive or you're not. That night started like any other. The soft hiss of the broadcast, the red on-air light. A cup of coffee gone cold long ago. I said my usual line. If you're still awake, it means you're not alone. The calls kept coming. Someone complained about insomnia. Someone talked about their childhood. Someone just breathed into the phone and said nothing. And then she called. I still don't know her name. The screen showed a number without a region code. That alone was strange. She spoke quietly, very evenly. No emotion. Can you hear me? She asked. Yes, I said. You're on the air. She paused. I could hear her breathing. If I don't call back in an hour, she said, it means I'm gone. I smiled then. Not out loud. Inside. Over the years, I heard everything. Fake threats, manipulation, jokes, hysteria. People love drama, especially when someone is listening. Do you want to talk? I asked. No, she said. I've already decided. The line went dead. I looked at the timer. 43 minutes left until the end of the show. I could have done a lot. I could have tried to call her back. I could have contacted emergency services. I could have at least kept her talking. But instead, I said into the microphone. Sometimes silence is also an answer. And I played a commercial break. She never called back. The next day, a short news item appeared. A young woman died after jumping from the roof of a residential building. No name, no details. I recognized the address. It matched the area she had mentioned in passing. One word. I hadn't paid attention back then. A month later, the show was canceled. A year later, I left radio. 2 years later, I stopped listening to silence. 10 years passed. And then one night around the same time, close to midnight, I received an email. An old work address. One only station employees had known. No subject. No message. Just an attachment. An audio file. I didn't want to open it. Believe me, I really didn't. Some things are better left unheard. But I pressed play. At first, there was noise. That familiar one. Radio static. Then a voice. My voice. If you're hearing this, it said, you have 40 minutes left. Don't repeat my mistake. She will come on the air again. The recording ended. I sat completely still. My hands were shaking. I knew 2 things for certain. First, I had never recorded this message. Second, the intonation was mine. Too much mine? I checked the file metadata. Creation date, tomorrow. I laughed. Loudly. Nervously. People laugh when the brain refuses to believe. 10 minutes later, another email arrived. Again, no text. The attachment was titled, On Air. I opened it. It was a recording of a call. That same call. Her voice. The same words. But then there was something that had never existed. I'm scared, she said. I hoped you would stop me. I closed the laptop and drove to the radio station. The building was abandoned. The sign had been taken down. The ground floor windows were boarded up, but the door was open. Inside, it smelled of dust and old equipment. The elevator didn't work, so I took the stairs. The control room was still there. The console, the microphones, the headphones, and the light. The red light was on. A cassette lay on the console. An old one. On it, in my handwriting, were the words, "The last hour. Finale. The date, tomorrow." I turned on the tape recorder. "You'll come here anyway," my voice said, "because you always return to the place where you stayed silent." I sat down in the host's chair. "You'll have a choice," the voice continued. "If you go on air, I disappear. If you stay silent, she dies again. And again. And again." The tape stopped. At that moment, the incoming call light lit up. The number was the same. I stared at the answer button for a long time. A very long time. Then I pressed it. "Can you hear me?" she asked. I closed my eyes. "Yes," I said. "I'm here." She cried. For the first time. "I don't want to die," she said. "I just have nowhere to go." I didn't play commercials. I talked to her. For a long time. Awkwardly. Honestly. I wasn't a psychologist. I wasn't a savior. I was just a voice that didn't leave. When the broadcast ended, the call disconnected. The silence was different. By morning, the emails were gone. The files had disappeared. The station was abandoned again. But sometimes at night, I turn on the radio. And if you're not sleeping right now, maybe it's not a coincidence. Because some signals come only once. And if you hear them, it means it's not too late.